Without further delay, here are 10 significant restaurant franchises that are on the brink of collapse in 2023. Number 1, Red Lobster. Since it first welcomed customers in 1968, Red Lobster has been offering fresh lobster baskets, Cheddar Bay biscuits, and unlimited shrimp platters to Americans across the nation. Despite the chain's commitment to reasonably priced seafood for all, the restaurant has been grappling with major challenges in recent times, leading to the closure of multiple formerly thriving locations. The seafood establishment had over 700 outlets in 2021, but since then, more than 50 branches have permanently shut down. The trend is projected to persist into 2023. The Thai Union Group, which owns Red Lobster, asserted that these closures were crucial for the company's survival. "We regularly assess our restaurant portfolios," a spokesperson from Red Lobster revealed to Restaurant Business Online. "As a result, we have determined that these outlets are no longer sustainable for Red Lobster." Number 2, Hard Rock Cafe. First opening its doors to patrons in 1971, Hard Rock Cafe is among the longest-serving quick-service restaurant chains globally. The corporation also owns a collection of cafes, hotels, and casinos. But unfortunately, its restaurants have been witnessing an increasing number of closures in recent years. As reported by CBS News, numerous branches in Texas, California, and Massachusetts have been closed since 2020. Jim Allen, chairman of Hard Rock International, has recently expressed concerns about persistent economic difficulties and indicated that more shutdowns could be on the horizon in 2023. Number 3, Applebee's. Since its inception in 1980, Applebee's enjoyed many years of prosperity. However, a series of financial issues gradually crept in. Sales have been on a steady decline since 2015, prompting the company to experiment with various strategies to lure customers. These include introducing healthier choices, a new delivery system, late-night half-price appetizers, and even $1 holiday cocktails. Regrettably, none of these initiatives have proven successful, and in the last few years, the restaurant chain has shuttered over 120 outlets nationwide. A minimum of 24 Applebee's locations are slated to close in the near future due to dwindling profits and unsuccessful expansion attempts. The parent company, Dine Brands, expects additional closures to be declared before the year concludes, as executives cooperate with franchisees to enhance Applebee's financial stability. Number 4, Sbarro. This renowned pizza chain has been operational for over 2 decades, gaining substantial popularity in shopping malls during its peak years. However, Sbarro began to lag behind other major competitors, particularly as shopping malls became obsolete, and the company does not provide any delivery service to its patrons. Since 2004, Sbarro has closed over half of its U.S. outlets. Their revenue has consistently fallen year after year, and recently, the cost of pizza ingredients, including flour, tomatoes, cheese, sausages, pepperoni, and more, has escalated dramatically. This has necessitated Sbarro to transfer these costs to their customers. Unfortunately, patrons have lamented the decrease in product quality, and higher prices have led to even lower sales for the franchise. Owing to its failure to adapt to new trends and evolving consumer preferences, analysts at Mashed forecast that the company's outlets may not remain open much longer. Number 5, Hooters. Hooters is set to celebrate its 40th anniversary in 2023, but retail experts are uncertain whether the chain will endure past this decade. The company has poured substantial funds into failed ventures over the years, including the Hooters Casino Hotel in Las Vegas, which lost millions of dollars and has been on the brink of bankruptcy since 2019. Over 7% of its total retail outlets have been closed. The brand even attempted to rebrand some of its locations as Hoots and began to dress its waitresses more modestly in an effort to align with perceived customer preferences. However, the chain's primary issue has been management instability and frequent ownership changes over short durations. Each time a new owner acquired the company, the focus shifted to re-establishing operations and recouping profits rather than strategizing Hooters' future direction and differentiation from other key competitors. According to information from Eat This Not That, Hooters had approximately 430 locations at its apex 10 years ago. By autumn 2022, only 318 stores remained operational, and by early 2023, this number had declined further to a mere 308 Hooters restaurants in the United States. Number 6, the the Cheesecake Factory. Recognized as a leading fast casual dining chain in the U.S., the Cheesecake Factory has encountered a surge in material and labor costs in recent years. Concurrently, the company has been wrestling with stagnating sales, and the ramifications of the pandemic are still causing severe economic effects. Established in 1972, the Cheesecake Factory recently marked its 50th anniversary. However, since its inception, 38 of its branches have shut down for good, with a tenth of those closures occurring in the past 3 years alone. This is undoubtedly a negative indicator for the dessert-oriented diner, which is suffering substantial financial losses due to the shutdowns. Number 7. Buffalo Wild Wings. The renowned sports pub and chicken eatery is the newest casualty of the retail meltdown. The chain had 1,333 outlets across the country in 2019, but only 1,240 are in operation in 2023. Some of the 93 shutdowns were tied to the nationwide chicken shortage that began in 2021, along with underperformance and escalating labor expenses. Furthermore, the franchise recently hiked its prices to compensate for increased operational costs and financial shortfalls. Yet the price increase led to a drop in patronage for many of its franchisees. Over the previous year, its retail presence has continued to dwindle, with locations in Colorado, Illinois, Florida, and Virginia ceasing operations permanently. Number 8. Taco Bell. The recent price hikes by Taco Bell have sparked discontent among Americans, which is negatively impacting the chain's performance. To add to the woes, items on its app are priced 25% higher than in its physical outlets. Social media is awash with customers voicing their displeasure over the escalating prices. Furthermore, its branches in the Los Capalier region have seen a slump in trade. Regrettably, this doesn't shield them from potential bankruptcy. Indeed, the company has recently shut down several branches without much forewarning, which industry experts see as a worrying indication for a chain that has spent years expanding and evolving. Number 9. Chipotle. Even with its strong following among young TikTok users, the company's difficulties predate its newfound online popularity. As per Ops F, Chipotle has been under tremendous strain for years, grappling with falling revenue, disappointing financial outcomes, and dwindling growth. These are just a few issues the company is facing. If you're a fan of this chain, it's time to show your loyalty, as 65 locations have already closed down, and an estimated 50 more might cease operations for good by early 2024. Number 10. Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut once held the position of the largest and most favored restaurant franchise across the United States. It was the chosen spot for family dinners, romantic dates, birthday celebrations, and brisk lunches. However, the current trend leans towards visiting an Italian eatery for a more refined dining experience. Presently, Pizza Hut operates mainly on a takeout basis, with 450 of its branches closing permanently. Restaurants are often hit hardest during economic downturns. When financial constraints tighten for the average American, one of the first sacrifices made is their regular outing to the neighborhood eatery in an attempt to economize and make ends meet. Numerous chains won't weather the impending crisis, and sadly, this could imply bidding farewell to our beloved diners, pizza joints, and casual dining establishments in the upcoming months. If a chain you love is mentioned in this list, it might be wise to pay them a visit soon. After all, we can never predict if the next visit might be the last. Thank you for tuning in.
Shalom, shalom. Before I start, I want to give all honors and glories and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Waha, Waka, Kodash, Yahweh, which is the one true name of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, but his one true name is Yahweh Shai, Bahashem. Ba means coming in, Ha means the, Sham means name, Raka, Kodash. Rakah means holy, Kodash means spirit. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, who will well and teach well, because those are the men who I've learned this truth from through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai. Peace, blessings, salutations to the hopeful elect, and shalom to you sincere brothers scattered abroad, pushing forth this word in truth and in sincerity. I am the brother Mashiach Arazakah from the servants of Yahweh Yahushai camp, Las Vegas, Nevada branch, and shalom to you sincere sisters that's listening in silence as the scriptures command you to do so. And pretty much in this lesson, I don't have a title right now at the moment because I don't want to say the wrong thing and get a strike. But there's inflation and closing of these fast food restaurants. There's a lot of these fast food restaurants that's beginning to close across the states. We experienced these things even further back, going into Planet Hollywood. They winded up closing, right? We had Planet Hollywood Video, which they winded up closing. We had Blockbuster that closed way back then. We had what's that, Payless. They winded up closing, going out of business. We had Circus City, which, if you don't know what Circus City was another form of Best Buy, pretty much. You had Best Buy and you had Circus City, which they were another form of Best Buy. They closed down. They went out of business. You had Radio Shack. They went out of business. So there's a lot of stores and restaurants that's closing. We also had a store called Long's. I don't know if brothers and sisters ever remember the store called Long's, but Long's was another form of Walgreens, and that's a place where I grew up going to. My mom used to take us to when we get medicine and things like that. It used to be a store called Long's. They went out of business. They went out of business when I was like a kid, but there's a lot of these stores that's closing down, and we can see that this place called America, which is Babylon the Great, is falling. And these elites here, they're pushing forth their agendas. That's why you see all of these stores and fast food restaurants, they're collapsing, because the digital currency, the fiat currency is collapsing. Okay, the fiat currency is collapsing. Okay, we're going to look at the fiat currency. Now, when you go to usdebtclock.org, you can see all the countries in trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars in debt, even America. So they got to bring in a whole new system to get all the countries out of debt. And that's leading into the Hour Temptations, which is that MOTB, which is going into the CBDC, which is that digital currency. Because when you look at the fiat currency right now, as you can see, you see America, China, Japan, the UK, India, France, Italy, Brazil, Canada, Argentina, Australia. You see that? Belgium, Greece, right? You see that? Indonesia, Ireland, Korea, Mexico, Netherlands, Nigeria, Norway, Poland. You see that all the way down to Turkey. All these countries are in trillions of dollars in debt. So they got to get all these countries out of debt to bring in a new system. So you can see it's starting to affect the inflation. The debt is starting to affect actual businesses and resources. It's affecting food. It's affecting home of living. It's affecting, credit card. You got credit card debt. It's crazy. It's a hell of an increase on credit card debt. There's so many people in credit card debt. It's not even funny. You just got all these bills. Insurance, inflation of insurance is even going up. Inflation of insurance is going up to like let's say if you was a Jake and you was paying your insurance for your car, and it used to be like $200, $100. Now insurance is going up to $300, $400, $500. Then people got car notes they got to pay. Their car notes is even just as much as that much. So it's a lot of debt. A lot of people are going into a lot of debt, and it's because of the inflation of everything. Everything is crumbling. Everything is going out. So this is going into Jacob's trouble, and this is why we say you need to get this truth, because this place called America is falling beneath you. All its resources, all its parks and theme parks and places is closing down. It's closing down, man. And it's letting you know that we're no longer in those days of peace. We're not in the time of peace. Okay, there's a lot of things that are taking place on the earth. There's a lot of places collapsing. Businesses is going out, etc. Jeremiah 30 and 50. It says, "For thus saith the Lord." Anytime you see Lord in caps, that's talking about the Heavenly Father Yahweh. "We have heard a voice of trembling of fear and not of peace." So we're not in a time of peace. There's a lot of havoc, a lot of misery, a lot of suffering that's going on throughout the earth. Right? It says, "As you know and see whether a man doeth travail with child, wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness." Because it's going to come to a time where that paleness is going to come, and it's going to have a lot of people feeble and weak. They're not going to know what to do. They're going to be in paleness, right? The MOTB being established, because there's going to be a whole new system that's going to come in. All of these businesses and places that people used to go to, they ain't going to be able to go there anymore. All of these things is collapsing, man. All these businesses and resources is all collapsing. It's going into the hour of temptation, the famine of food, the famine of water. These things is taking place. Verse 7, Alice for that day is great, so there's none like it. It is even the time of Jacob trouble. And that's the time that we're coming into, Jacob trouble. We are in the last days, the end of the world, the end of age, right? It says, but he shall be saved out of it. And that's talking about the elect. Because the things that we're coming into is going to be a hard, anguish, devastating, distress time. And can no damn time in this history of life in general can match up and head into the times that we're coming into. This is going to be a worldwide thing, a global thing, the global economic collapse. You're not going to be able to escape it, you know. Micah 2:10, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. So for all you Israelites out there that's treating this place called America as your resting place, you better think again. There's things that's coming that is going to be very devastating and havoc on the earth. It's going to be a lot of civil unrest. It's going to be a lot of martial laws and ridicule of oppression upon the Israelites. You treating this place as your rest, you believing that you're going to keep your 10-year job that you had for years, and you have seniority, you're going to lose that job. You're going to lose a lot of things. You know, so this isn't your place of rest. This isn't your place to be comfortable in. It says because it is polluted. This place is polluted, right? With all the philosophies, all the wickedness that we see on the earth that's taking place. You know, this place called America is built on straight wickedness. It says it shall destroy you even with a sword destruction. So that's what's coming. A sword destruction is coming. And it's coming upon America. It's coming upon these 2/3 of our people because they still want to be embedded in the ways of this society. 2 Timothy 3:1, it says this know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. And that's what's coming. Perilous times, right? Perilous times. Perilous, full of danger or risks. And that's what's coming. Danger or risks that's going to come upon the earth. And if you are a woman that believe that you didn't need a man now, right now you don't need a man, you're going to need a man in that time because you're going to be in danger. You're going to be that prey for the Edomites. You're going to be that prey for the other nations and these other jakes, because you're going to have these carnal jakes out here. You know, you're going to have a lot of these men out here that's going to try to rape you women. And I'm not saying we're going to do that, but that's the time that it's going to come into. Is it going to be no calling police and having a camera on your porch and telling the man to go away? He's going to try to come into your house. And if you don't have a man, you're going to be a very messed up person in that time. A very messed up person. This is why, again, if you were a woman that had a man in the Lord and you left him to try to find something better, you're going to be in a bad situation. Because when you had a man in the Lord, you were in that spiritual ark. You was protected. But now that you left your man that you had that was a man of the Lord, you left him because you think that he was boring, or you think that whatever he was doing was just making you angry and it just wasn't enough for you. You thought leaving him was a better good thing for you. You messed up now, because now you're going to be asked out. You're going to try to seek that man. You're going to try to come back to that man, and that man ain't going to help you. That man ain't going to deal with you or any of that. You had a man of the Lord and you left him to try to find something better, and you put yourself in a bad situation. 2 Timothy 3:1. Now it says know this also, that in the last days perilous times shall come. And that's what's coming. Perilous time, dangers, risks. That's what's coming. And that's what's coming upon the Israelites, man. That's why it's called Jacob's trouble. Because these high power elites, they're going to come in like a flood, right? Revelation 12:12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time. Because these elites, they know that their time is almost up. This is why they're pushing forth these agendas. This is why they're purposely causing these collapses, right? They're purposely causing these collapses. They're causing man-made famines, famine of food and water. They're purposely doing these things to fulfill their agendas. They're establishing this right here to come upon the earth, and this is what's going to be mandatory across the world. And if you don't have this here, if you don't have this, it's going to be very challenging for you as an Israelite man and woman to survive in this society, because this is going to be recommended on the earth. You're not going to be able to have a job without this. You're not going to be able to see a primary doctor without this. You're not going to be able to go to the dentist without this. You're not going to be able to go to see an eye doctor without this. You're not going to be able to drive your vehicle or be able to live in your home without this, right? Everything you have and that you have in your wallet is going to be made mandatory on this here. This is going to be made mandatory. They're not going to force it, but you're going to have this to be able to survive and make it in this society. And if you are an individual that say literally in your head, you don't believe in this, regardless if you believe in this or not, you take this here, you're going to be destroyed. There's no repentance for taking that. There's no repentance for taking that C-hit, man. You take that MOTB, you will be destroyed when the Lord come back. And this is what they're bringing in. They're bringing in their CBDC. They're going to make that mandatory. And you can't be gullible to fall for this. Revelation 18:2, it says, he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen. Because it is fallen. It's crumbling. Right? The scriptures say in Jeremiah 51 that Babylon was a golden cup in the Lord's hand. Right? But now it's fallen. It's crumbling beneath his feet. It's no longer considered great anymore. Right? It says it's fallen and it's become the habitation of devils, and it says, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean, hurtful bird. And you see that Babylon the Great is fallen. It is crumbling. It is no longer the greatest country. Because you got people that believe that America is the greatest country. No, it's not. It's not great. It's fallen beneath your feet. It's crumbling. Jeremiah 51:7. Babylon had been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, and it has been, but now it's coming to an end. It's fallen. It says that made all the earth drunken. Drunken of what? Of the philosophies, right? The politics, the false religions, right? The politics, the false religions. Thinking about the other thing, I think it's the politicians, right? The politics, the false religions, right? And it was something else. I can't think of it right now. And the philosophies, right? Because that's what America's built off of. The politics, the philosophies, right? The politics, the philosophies, and the false religions, man. It says the nations have drunken of her wine. See, they have drunken of her false politics, her false religions, and her I don't know why I can't think about it. Her politics, her false religions, right? And her philosophies. It says therefore the nations are mad, right? So this place called America, our people, 2/3 of our people, they have drunken of that wine. They have drunken of those politics and false religions, right, and philosophies. Okay. 2nd Esdras 6:9, it says, for Esau is the end of the world. Esau is the end of the world. The end of what? His rulership, right? His rulership is coming to an end. It says, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth, right? Because there's a beginning that is coming for the Israelites. Right? Because the end of Esau's rulership is coming to an end. He's not going to continually rule. It's coming to an end. It's coming directly into an end. This is 2nd Esdras 15 verse 1. It says, behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy. Who's doing that? The men of the Lord. They're bringing out this truth. They're bringing out the prophecies, right? It says, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord. So the Lord is going to put his spirit within his prophets to bring out this truth, to bring out this gospel. Verse 2, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Everything in the scriptures is going to come to pass. Everything in the scriptures is faithful and true. Everything that's in the Bible, regardless if you believe it or not, is going to come to pass. Right? Verse 3, it says, fear not the imaginations against thee, let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. Right? Because you got people that speak against us. They speak against this truth, this gospel, this ministry. Right? Verse 4, for all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. And that's what's coming upon you people that speak incredulity against the prophets, that's been speaking against us. You've been speaking against us on our comment boards. You've been just being a demon, a bug out, saying all this thing, calling us false prophets, talking all this stuff. You're going to die in your faithfulness. That's the judgment that's coming for you. Verse 5, behold the Lord, behold thus saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. See, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. And this is what is coming upon this place called America. There's a judgment that's coming for this place. There's a judgment that's coming for this whore and its due. The Lord is using Esau to fulfill prophecy. He don't know what he's doing. Verse 6, for wickedness have exceedingly polluted the earth. And this is why the Lord is going to judge this whore. This is why the Lord is going to cast his judgment on this place called America, Babylon the Great, because the earth is polluted. Right? It says their hurtful works are fulfilled. Their hurtful works are being fulfilled. All right? They've been pushing these agendas and pushing these requirements or recommendations upon the Israelites. You see that? They've been pushing these things upon the Lord's people. So now the Lord is going to repay these people. There's a recompense due for all that. Right? Revelation 18:6 talking about that. A reward is due unto her double, right? Revelation, second Esdras, like in 15:7, it says, therefore saith the Lord, verse 8, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit, neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and the righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. Because the Lord sees how vexed and how much suffering his people is going through on this earth, right? We're suffering literally here. Verse 9, and therefore saith the Lord, I will surely avenge them and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them. Verse 10, behold my people is behold my people is led as a flock to slaughter, right? It says, I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt. And Egypt is this place called America. That's modern day Egypt. So when you read Egypt here, that's talking about America, Babylon the Great. Verse 11, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and will smite Egypt, which is America, right? I will smite Egypt with plagues as before. Now the place that got smitten with plagues before, that's talking about ancient Egypt. But the place that's being smitten with the plagues of the Lord right now, that's talking about America, which you read right here. And I will smite Egypt with plagues as before. Because one of the main plagues for this great whore, right, that scarlet covered beast, that whore, right, is judgment, which is thermonuclear destruction, those thermonuclear missiles. It says as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. See that? So there's a judgment that the Lord is going to bring upon Babylon the Great, this great whore, this whore. She is going to be destroyed, which is America. Egypt shall mourn, talking about America, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and the punishment that the Most High Yahweh Bashimashah shall bring upon it. And the Lord is going to use his only begotten son to do that. That scripture is mentioned in Daniel 7 and 9, right? When the Ancient of Days did sit, because Yahweh Shai is going to come back to make his second coming to do the judgment of the Lord. Because the Heavenly Father, he's going to send his only begotten son back to establish that judgment. And that judgment is going to be in total righteousness, man. Alright? Verse 13, it says, they that till the ground shall mourn, for their seed shall fail through the blasting of hail, and with a fearful consolation. Verse 14, woe to the world and them that dwell therein. So that word woe means warning or destruction. And it says, for the sword in their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another with swords in their hand. And this is going into that sedition, which is going to take place, because everybody's not going to comply to that MOTB. Everybody's not going to get that MOTB. Everybody's not going to bow down and follow procedures when they establish that new world order and that martial law. Everybody's not going to follow. Everybody's not going to comply to the system. They're going to be against it, and that's where that sedition is going to come up. That's where that rising of that sedition going to come up. That civil unrest is going to take place, and that's when crime is going to increase, right? Verse 16, for there shall be sedition, which that word sedition means to revolt authority, rebel against, right? It says, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, they shall not regard their kings nor their princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power, right? Because everybody's not going to comply to the system. Everybody's not going to bow down to the new regulation of the CBDC. Everybody's not going to get the CHIP. That's going to cause a lot of civil unrest. You're going to have cannibalism. You're going to have a lot of sex trafficking. You're going to be having a lot of women and men getting raped, because that's going to take place. A lot of that's going to take place, man. Now, I'm not saying we're going to do that, but those are the times that we're going to come into. And this is why we said, you Israelite sisters that's in the truth, if you have a man, that is a blessing. Stay with that man. If you're a woman that don't have a man, you better get a man quick. Because if you don't get a man in that time, you're going to be asked out. If you don't have a man in that time, you're going to be a messed up person. That's why you should have a man. You should have a man. Because you're going to have a man to be able to protect you, especially a man of the Lord. He's going to be able to protect you. You're going to be protected. But if you don't have no man and you're just a single woman in a house with kids, yeah, you're in a dangerous situation, man. You're in a very dangerous situation. You know? 2nd Esdras 15 and 17, a man shall desire to go into the city and shall not be able. That's going into martial law. Because that's going to be all over the place. It's going to be established under the new world order. It's going to be a whole new ball game in that time. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, And the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid, because all the crime and all the things that they're going to see, the terror and the horror that they're going to see. Like right now, we don't see no terror and horror going on. We don't see no killing right in front of our faces going on. But in Jacob trouble, you're going to see that. You're going to see people getting their head blown off. You're going to be seeing women getting raped in front of you. There's going to be women literally getting raped in front of you. Literally. You're going to be seeing kids getting eaten. It's going to be cannibalism. It's going to be a lot of havoc, just devastating times that you could think of. You know, and you ain't gonna be able to call 911. When 911 gonna go out of business. That's gonna be a very devastating time for a lot of people. It says a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor. You're gonna have people betraying one another. People who you was closest with is gonna betray you in that time. You ain't gonna be able to trust your own family. Right? It says a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword. Because a sword can be a gun, it can be a baseball bat, a bat with metals on it. Anything that you have, anything that they have that they're going to use in that time is considered a sword. And spoil their goods. Take everything you got, right? Because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. So you people that's just all stacked up in your garage, you got all this food and all that shit stacked up in your house, motherfuckers going to come in there and take that from you. They're going to have guns, and if you got guns, you can play RoboCop, but you're going to wind up getting killed. You're going to be a dead individual. This is why we need the faith. This is why we're going to have the faith and enduring to the end. You know, Lord willing, if the Lord have mercy on us, to endure to the end. You see that? So I'm going to go down to, I think I'll end everywhere with that. Let me get this precept here and wrap it up with this. I just want to do a quick hit. The video that I started with was pretty long itself. This is Proverbs. We started at chapter 1 and read at verse 22. And it says, how long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity, and the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge? Because right now, our people don't want the correction. 2/3 of our people, they don't care for this truth. Right? As scriptures mentioned that in Romans 11:7, Israel have not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election have obtained it, right? So you have the people that seek this truth, and you have those that didn't seek it. Verse 23, it says, turn you out my reproof, and our reproof means correction. And it says, behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you, and I will make known my words unto you. See, but the Lord does that now. How does he do that? Through his prophets. Verse 24, because I have called and ye refused, I have stretched out my hand and no man regarded. You see that? They didn't want correction. 2/3 of our people, they don't want correction. They want to do as thou wilt, right? They believe that they have their own free will, which that's not in the scriptures. Verse 25, but ye have set at naught all my counsel, and with none of my reproof. You didn't want the correction. So now, in the time when the Lord had prophets out, and you didn't seek those prophets, you didn't go to the house of the Lord and receive that correction, to receive this reproof, you rebelled against it. You didn't care for it. You didn't care about it. You was God is love. God love everybody. You was embedded in these bugged out ass religions. Now havoc and trouble is going to come in that time. Verse 26, and I also will laugh at your calamity. A calamity is a disaster, a horrifying event, a disaster moment. It says, I will mock when your fear cometh. And the Lord is going to mock you. And how he's going to mock you? Through his prophets. Verse 27, when your fear cometh as desolation, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish shall come upon you. Because that's what's going to come upon people. Those that did not seek the Lord, those that didn't have the faith in the Lord, anguish and distress is going to come upon you. And if you're not fully persuaded in your mind, you're going to be an individual to give in to that sea hit. Verse 28, it says, then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. You see that? And that goes into that Amos 8 and 11, right? The famine of the word, right? You're going to try to seek the Lord, then it's going to be too late. Verse 29, it says, for they that hated knowledge and did not choose to fear the Lord. You see that? You didn't choose to fear the Lord. You hated knowledge. You rejected this truth. Now you're in anguish. And you ain't going to know what to do in that time. Verse 30, it says, they would none of my counsel. They despise all my reproof. You see that? So this coming to a time where if you ain't seek the Lord, you better seek the Lord now. Because it's going to be a time where you're not going to be able to seek the Lord anymore, man. And you're going to be an assed out individual. You're going to be that individual to be left out there in the cold to be destroyed, man. In the heat to be destroyed, man. So, hey, Lord willing, lessons edifying. Yeah, man, I do a lesson on this. You know, this is very, very a trip. There's more of these stores and restaurants closing. You know, and that's all the will of the Lord. Because the Lord is establishing his judgment. He's fulfilling prophecy. Prophecy has to be fulfilled. So, hey, man, Lord willing, this lesson is edifying. I want to give all honors and glories and praises to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Wahab, Kakodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, salutations to the hopeful elect. Shalom to you, sincere brothers scattered abroad, pushing forth this word of truth and sincerity. And shalom to you, sincere sisters that's listening in silence as the scriptures command you to do so. I am the brother Mashiach Arazakah from the servants of Yahweh Yahushai camp, Las Vegas, Nevada branch. And Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. On to the next one. Shalom. Shalom.